Welcome to the Dark Records channel where we talk about everything dark and spooky. Today we are going to talk about the Kodama, but before that don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's get right into it. The history of Kodama yokai is deeply intertwined with Japanese folklore, Shinto beliefs, and the cultural reverence for nature that has existed in Japan for centuries. These spirits are considered embodiments of the kami, or divine spirits, which inhabit natural objects and phenomena according to Shinto, the indigenous religion of Japan. The concept of Kodama dates back to the earliest forms of Shinto, where trees, especially large or ancient ones, were believed to house kami. These kami were seen as guardians of the land, and their presence in trees made those trees sacred. It was common for people to mark trees believed to be inhabited by Kodama with a sacred rope called shimnawa, signaling that the tree was not to be disturbed. Belief in Kodama also stems from Japan's animistic traditions, where spirits are believed to reside in all elements of nature, including trees, mountains, rivers, and rocks. This animistic worldview contributed to the idea that certain trees, especially those with unique characteristics or age, possessed a living spirit, which came to be known as Kodama. In the Heian period, 794–1185, Kodama began appearing in literature and art, reflecting the growing influence of Shinto and Buddhist ideas on Japanese culture. The Nihon Shoki, Chronicles of Japan, an early 18th century text, contains references to tree spirits, which may have been early mentions of Kodama. The belief in these spirits was also reinforced by the growing popularity of the idea that cutting down a tree could invoke the wrath of the spirits dwelling within it. In the medieval period, as Japan moved into the medieval period, Kodama became more prominent in local legends and folklore. Stories often depicted these spirits as protectors of the forests, punishing those who desecrated sacred trees. During this time, rituals and offerings were made to appease the Kodama, especially before cutting down trees for wood or clearing land. On the other hand, in the Edo period, 1603–1868, the yokai culture flourished, where supernatural beings and spirits became popular subjects in literature, art, and theater. Kodama yokai were featured in various Hyakuyaji ring, Night Parade of 100 Demons, illustrations, which depicted a procession of spirits, demons, and ghosts. During this time, the imagery of Kodama became more standardized, often shown as small, ethereal beings associated with large, ancient trees. And even in modern Japan, the reverence for trees and the belief in Kodama persists. Although the belief in the literal existence of these spirits may have diminished, the cultural respect for nature remains strong. Kodama are still referenced in popular culture, literature, and media, symbolizing the sacredness of nature and the consequences of disrupting the natural world. Kodama have influenced various aspects of Japanese pop culture, most notably in Hayao Miyazaki's film Princess Mononoke, 1997, where small, ghostly creatures represent the spirits of the forest. This portrayal helped renew interest in traditional beliefs and introduced the concept of Kodama to a global audience. These yokai are believed to inhabit ancient or particularly large trees, and they are considered protectors of the forests. Kodama are deeply rooted in Shinto beliefs, where they are revered as sacred beings that embody the spirit of the tree they inhabit. Kodama are rarely seen, but when they are often depicted as small, ethereal beings with humanoid shapes. They might appear as glowing or translucent figures, blending in with the natural environment. Some stories describe them as resembling the trees they inhabit, with bark-like skin, leaf-covered bodies, or even appearing as miniature versions of the trees themselves. In many tales, Kodama do not have a fixed form and can manifest as whispers in the wind, rustling leaves, or the creaking of trees. They are often invisible to humans but can sometimes be seen by those with spiritual sensitivity. Kodama are protectors of the forests. They are said to bring good fortune to those who respect nature and calamity to those who harm the forests. If a tree inhabited by a Kodama is cut down, it is believed that the person responsible will suffer a terrible curse, which may bring misfortune or death. Kodama can communicate with other spirits and creatures within the forest. They have the ability to control or influence the natural environment, such as causing trees to grow rapidly, or creating a harmonious balance within the ecosystem. The name Kodama also refers to an echo, which is said to be the voice of these spirits. When people hear an echo in the forest, it is often attributed to the presence of a Kodama. This ability is linked to their connection with sound and nature. Kodama are ancient spirits, often hundreds or even thousands of years old. This long lifespan grants them great wisdom and knowledge of the forest and its history. They are revered as wise beings who can offer guidance to those who seek it. One of the most well-known stories involving a Kodama comes from Japanese folklore and illustrates the reverence and fear associated with these tree spirits. This story serves as a cautionary tale about the consequences of disrespecting nature. The tale of the woodcutter and the Kodama. In a small village nestled at the edge of an ancient forest, there lived a woodcutter who made his living by chopping down trees and selling the wood in the marketplace. Despite being warned by the villagers to be careful of the sacred trees, he was skeptical of the old beliefs. The villagers often spoke of a giant, ancient tree deep in the forest that was said to be the home of a powerful Kodama. They believed that anyone who harmed the tree would incur the wrath of the spirit, bringing misfortune upon themselves. One day, driven by greed and the prospect of selling valuable timber, the woodcutter ventured deep into the forest in search of this legendary tree. After hours of searching, he finally found Ida, a massive tree with a trunk so wide it would take several men to encircle it with their arms. The tree was covered in moss, and its roots spread out like the veins of the earth itself. There was something otherworldly about the tree, but the woodcutter, dismissing the villagers' tales as mere superstition, decided to cut it down. As he raised his axe and brought it down on the tree, a deep echo reverberated through the forest. It was as if the tree itself cried out in pain. Unperturbed, the woodcutter continued to chop, ignoring the eerie silence that had fallen over the forest. Suddenly, with one final swing, the axe struck deep into the trunk, and blood began to seep from the wound he had made. Startled and terrified, the woodcutter realized that the stories were true. The tree was indeed the home of Kodama. The forest, once quiet, now roared with the sounds of angered spirits. The wind howled, and the ground shook as if the earth itself was furious at the woodcutter's actions. The woodcutter, horrified by what he had done, tried to flee, but it was too late. The curse of the Kodama had already taken hold. As he ran through the forest, he became disoriented, unable to find his way out. No matter which direction he turned, the trees seemed to close in on him, their branches grabbing at his clothes, their roots stripping his feet. In the end, the woodcutter was never seen again. The villagers, upon discovering his abandoned axe near the base of the ancient tree, believed that the Kodama had exacted its revenge. They feared the spirit's wrath, and to appease it, they offered prayers and made offerings to the tree, vowing never to disturb the forest again. The story of the woodcutter and the Kodama serves as a powerful reminder of the consequences of greed and disrespect for nature. It also emphasizes the importance of heeding the wisdom of the past, respecting the sacred, and living in harmony with the natural world.